You are not depressed because your life is bad. You are actually having a bad life because you are depressed. Now, take this with a grain of salt. Of course, there are external factors, right? Depression is just an idea that people can't let go of the past. At least that's what Confucius said, right? Anxiety is the fear of the future. Now, I say this again with a grain of salt. Any person can have a reason to be depressed, right? Most people have a reason to be depressed. The problem is that if you have the comfort of even opening this video, if you have the liberty of opening YouTube from a comfortable bed, a house, food, right? There's a way that you could just be happier doing the things that you used to do that used to make you happy and integrating them back into your life, right? You took them out of your life for some strange reason. And it's really hard for you to conceptualize why, if you even think about why you stopped doing the things that you like to do, like playing basketball, shooting around the basketball, right? Not even playing full, just even shooting around or walking or like nature or animals, right? Like such simple things. And it's really hard to imagine a changed life that you can have from the comfort of your pillow and your bed, right? Like when you open the phone, you doom scroll or like you watch motivational videos and stuff, it's hard for you in that moment to conceptualize your life changing because you know it takes steps. Like our most people are smart enough, at least if you're watching YouTube, this type of YouTube, or like money type YouTube, you know that this is not, going to be an easy pathway to undepress yourself with money. Now, I think doom scrolling is leaving behind a generation of the most creative people on the planet, right? And the reason why I say that is because there's going to always be NPCs. Like, there's always going to be people that literally don't care about anything and they will just self-stimulate into depression and then it's over. But there are actually people, at least younger than myself or maybe younger than you or your age or older than you, that are just so stuck in their way of being depressed, doom scrolling every day, they can't break out of it. And they're just going to be left behind. And they're genuinely creative people. Like when they watch these clips or these videos, they say, I can make these videos. I can make this podcast. I can make a YouTube. And they just never do. They never release that creativity, which really causes the income, right? Like this is an e-commerce channel. This was all made from some sort of creative edge that I've taken advantage of, that I have, or that my team has, or we've exposed together, right? And these are things that you could also expose, or you could about yourself, right? Like there are creative moments. Some of us draw, some of us sing, some of us could teach, some of us can dance. Like there's always something that somebody could do where there's another pocket of humanity that could relate to you. And your depression is because you haven't found that pocket of people that you could like communicate with and remind yourself like, oh, I actually enjoyed acting. I actually enjoyed drama class. I enjoyed listening to music or going to shows, listening to instrumentals, making music, things like that. And people just leave it behind because they're so depressed. Like they're just doing this so much that they forget that there's just, they forget that there's things in their peripherals, that their blinders, which is the phone, really holds them back from doing. And Netflix and things like this make it worse. Sports, like watching TV, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it makes it worse because it's so stimulating and comforting that every person can relate to something on there. There's something on YouTube, Netflix, Hulu that you can just watch every single day that brings you comfort. They're like, all right, I'm gonna finish my day with this because I enjoy watching it. It's relatable to me. And you making it even this far in the video proves that like you've lasted slightly past the typical videos that people scroll past, the fucking motivational shit or like, all the stuff that actually has a deeper value that isn't just a 30-second dopamine spike. Like if you could sit through those things, you've already changed your own life in more ways than you can conceptualize. Because the people that haven't, they're the ones that are being brain rotted and doom scrolled into like their depressive actions. Even if that's not what's causing the depression in general, like there might be another reason, and whatever that reason may be. The problem is the longer you succumb to it, all the other things just amplify that. Like all the doom scrolling and watching sad videos about a breakup or a person you lost or like losing someone, like all these things are valid, but then you doom scrolling is literally amplifying those feelings that you have. It validates them, and that's not wrong, but is that going to make your life better? Or is that what's making your life worse? Is the depressive hole that you're putting yourself in making your life worse? I noticed that a lot of people in the e-commerce space, or like trying to make money online space, are just they've spiraled out of control to a point where they can't sit down and learn or watch a whole course. They've psyched themselves out even buying a course, right? Or they buy a course, but they feel like, oh, it's not enough. You didn't tell me the secret. But it's like the Kung Fu Panda movie. Like the secret is so within you. It's within those creative pockets that you've just buried because of your. I want to just correlate to depression because the depression has caused you to psych yourself out. It has caused you to not be able to imagine the life that you want to live, or think it's going to be too hard for you, even subconsciously. If you watch the videos and you get motivated for 50 seconds and you tell yourself, like, yo, I can do this again, the depression of not being where you want to be is reminding you that it's going to be so hard, hence reminding you subconsciously that you're probably not going to achieve it because you can't get out of the cycle of being depressed and doom scroll. Okay, so it's one big cycle that you're in. And in reality, what I have planned for you is bigger than just that one day of doom scrolling. It's bigger than just like you reforming this depression. Like it's past you have to reform your way of living, right? Like you have a certain way of living that is literally causing more depression, which is causing a worse life for yourself, right? Like your life, most of your life wouldn't be so bad to the point where you can't at least smile or laugh on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? Charlie Chaplin said, a day without smiling and laughing is a day wasted. So you got to imagine that you can be at least happier day to day. Like you don't have to be so on edge or so, like pushing away people that actually love you just to be able to go back to your doom scrolling and fear. You can still enjoy both things. Like you can still be depressed and not push those people away, not not give up everything, because what you're doing is you're pushing yourself down further into the rabbit hole, and you're not gonna be able to climb out easily. And every single day you tell yourself you're gonna wait for a specific moment to finally change or finally move on or finally put in work, right, to actually make money. It's just another day you're gonna regret in 20 years. And most people think that making money is gonna change their life, but they don't want to chase it because their depression is holding them back. There's a consensus that money doesn't buy happiness by rich people, and that it does buy happiness by poor people. And what it does do is it actually brings you a peace of mind. Like, it's not something that's going to make you instantly happier. And of course, you're going to buy things that can make you happier slightly. Happy when you buy things is actually correlated to dopamine. It's not correlated to oxytocin, which is love, right? So that's why people think money makes you happy, because instantly they buy things that make them happy. Dopamine wears off. They go back to a sort of a depressive mode where they're not dopamine spike. They're not being stimulated repeatedly. And without more money, there's no peaceful mind. Like, you can't physically have a peaceful mind. And without a peaceful mind, you can't imagine yourself with the things that you want, no matter what that is. If it's a loving family that you could take care of, if it's a house, if it's a car, if it's a watch, if it's just having a successful YouTube or a successful business, right? Like the feeling you get of just taking care of people from the hard work that you've put in, right? Like, most men, truthfully, just want to be able to work hard so people can just be proud of them. And then they can say, wow, this guy works so hard. I'm so grateful he's in my life. And that's what they want to hear. That's literally all guys want to hear. And it's just crazy, because now you can't even imagine yourself with the things that you want anymore, even though they were dreams of yours, because the depression is just so over. It just weighs so much on your shoulders, and you can't clearly envision the things that you're chasing anymore. It's not clear. Like, the vision isn't clear anymore. And worst of all, as you get older and life beats you down, at least for me learning, from experience, when it beats the crap out of you, when life beats the shit out of you, the dream destination, the dream that you have for yourself, that you set for yourself, it just feels like it's getting further and further away, and it's just causing more anxiety, right? That's just what age brings to people. And what are you going to do with this information now that me and you acknowledge it? Like, what can you possibly do with this information? And you have to make a choice. You have to pray. You have to meditate on the idea that you're not going to drown anymore, right? Like, you're not going to drown anymore. You're not going to punish yourself for being regretful by being more depressed, right? Like, any choices that you made or any things that have happened to you, you have to decide, like, those things are not going to weigh me down anymore. Like, there's just no point of letting them weigh me down and my life past me and me being depressed every day. Okay? Like, you have to actively set out to change these things, like actively, like consciously, because I promise you, if you had the liberty to watch this YouTube video or like sit in bed, and even if you're just slightly comfortable physically in your house, of course, mentally, people have a problem where they have to pay bills and sometimes they're on their last edge every single time. But if you were one of those people that still finds a way, you still find a way to feed yourself, and you still find a way to pay every single bill every single week, and you feel like you've been drowning for months and years, right? There is still a way out of that moment, because you're doing it anyway. Like, you are already doing that while being depressed. So just do it while being happy. And that's the first step to breaking out of that rat race. Like, the rat race is not going to escape you if you can't even just be happy on a day-to-day basis of just being alive. And I know it sounds simple and it sounds, almost easy, but like, it takes training to be not depressed on a daily basis. It's actually a scary idea that people don't practice this thing. And it's very obvious why people don't practice this thing. They loathe waking up, they go to bed depressed, and right before they depress, they're just, they're like scrolling all night. So it's like they see a bunch of things that they used to want, but they feel like it's out of reach, and they go to bed depressed, and they wake up anxious and depressed because it's another day of doing this. And how many more days can they do this? And when's their breaking point? And it's like, you have to make choices that lead you out of that. And that all can only start with what I'm telling you, which is actively choosing not to be depressed. And if you can't actively choose, you have to replace the moments of self-loathe, Netflix, doom scroll, stimulation to actual stimulation. Go back to bowling once a week. Go back to playing tennis once a week. Go back to just shooting hoops once a week. Doing anything that you like to do. Like, just go back doing anything that you like to do, because you can still do all of that and be happy. That's the difference. Like, you could even do those things and still be depressed, but they'll at least slightly make you happy again. Or do whatever the fuck you like to do. Fucking draw, make music, like literally do anything. Watch videos. Instead of doom scrolling, watch videos on how to play the guitar again. Like, I know it sounds absurd, but like, you have to find a way. First, if you want to start making money, right? And I know this channel is about money, but it's like, if you want to start making money, the first and easiest way is getting that mental clarity by just working out, going into nature, taking a fucking walk, just getting peace, getting clarity in those moments, even for a little bit while you're not. Like, you're ignoring the phone purposely for peace. Like, doing those little things consciously, purposely, like, that is what's going to lead you out of this hole, Like, you are just 5 daily decisions away from not being depressed anymore. And the problem is that specific thing, that depression has clouded. It's clouding currently the idea that the life you still want is attainable, because every day you're choosing against the actions that are going to lead to it because of the depressive moments. Those depressive moments are basically convincing you that it's okay to scroll for an extra hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, and now it's nighttime, now it's dark, now you don't want to do it. Now you want to just wait for one day for the sun to be out so you could finally lock in for 5-10 hours. And that's great. I do the same thing sometimes. Sometimes I'll take a day off, and sometimes I'll fucking work for 12 hours straight instead because I feel like it's just a great day, I'm on one. But the problem is, if you're depressive, the things that you're replacing your day off with are things that are fucking moving you away from peace. Like, the days that you're like, all right, I'm just too tired, too hungover, too whatever to not put in work today. and you're replacing that with garbage stimulation, like doom scrolling and eating like shit and like doing all the things that you bring you comfort again, like you're taking 2 steps back instead of 1 step forward, and that's what makes it worse. If you're gonna take a day off, make it a mental day off to fucking get your peace of mind back and your clarity back. Not with the phone. The opposite. It should be like getting further from the phone, especially because we all fucking want to make money and work on the phone. We all want to make money through our laptops and shit. So it's like if you're gonna take a day off and then fucking waste that back on the computer and laptop and TV watching shit, you already missed the fucking point of taking a day off. So you got to fix these things. Now, again, guys, if you find a way to pay your bills and feed yourself and your family every damn week, no matter how depressed you are, you can still do all of that and be happy. Like that's the bare fucking minimum. Like you can be annoyed that you have to go to work and feed yourself every single day with your last couple dollars, but then still choose to be happy. Again, when you get home or when you're loathing about going to work tomorrow, stimulate yourself with something that you will enjoy again, like art. Like our exposing our art is our way, whether that's through sports, whether that's through actual art, like drawing, physical art, like fucking music. My art is like running ads and making websites and shit. That's what I feel like my art is. It sounds insane, but I studied marketing. I went to college for marketing, so it's like I had to change majors 2 times just because I figured I do want to make money, and this is a way that I can expose my own creativity, my own art, with my own ads, my own videos, my own fucking creatives, everything, my own ad copy, my own copywriting. Like these are the things that I enjoy. And every time I'm fucking depressed, I go back and I go work out, I meditate, I do red light, I think about what are some ads that I could touch people's hearts with, and that's all you have to do to make money. And that's why I don't even want to make this video about money, but as I'm going through like my fucking Shopify dash and some things that you guys can see behind me, because this is a e-commerce channel, you guys gotta understand that like what got me out of my depressive states were just making websites that succeeded, like finally being able to pat myself on the back and say, all right, buddy, like you went from $300 days to fucking $3,000 days, $4,000 days, and soon $50,000 days in one store, right? Like the problem with hitting higher goals too is like every time you achieve something, you don't hit that dopamine spike again until you pass that goal. So it's like, that's why you want to get into a habit of working and letting the depression only fester when you're not working, because then you feel as not depressed when you are working. Like you feel that your art is the work, and you can pat yourself on the back, and that's your trophy. Like your trophy is the fucking dashboard, the Shopify dashboard that came from your hardworking ads and your team's ads and your team's fucking creatives. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I can appreciate, and I can acknowledge, I can relate to you with. In a lot of ways, that's what stopped me from making more videos. Like not because it's not that it wasn't rewarding for me. It was just like, why should I? Why should I do it? Why do I need to do it? Why? I could just do something else instead. Fuck it. And it just became a cycle of not uploading. It's like, what's the point? Like I wanted to document the journey on top of relating to people and letting them understand, like, there are people like you out there, like gurus telling you, like the problem that gurus tell you that you could just channel the depression into your biz, stop being depressed physically. Like it's not that simple, because most people, 99% of people can't physically get out of their bed, stop scrolling, and then sit at their computer without like getting distracted real quick again, because they want that stimulation again. Like they feel the depressive setting in because they're watching a video, they're watching a course, they know it's going to take mad time, and they're like, do I have this time right now? And they're just using every decision they possibly can make as to why it's not going to work. So I don't necessarily agree with gurus just saying, go channel your depression in your biz. Because yeah, I would say the same, but a shred of realism actually reveals that depression is causing your life to be bad, and you don't want to make a biz while you think that your life is bad. And most people think their life is bad. And I get it. But it's like, why would you bother going into biz? Why would you bother going deep into it if you didn't have a shred of fucking hope that things would get better? You would never go into biz if you didn't have a shred of fucking hope that things would get better. And having no faith is literally the epitome of doomed. Like, if you're religious in any type of way, or even spiritual, having no faith is the epitome of being doomed. And it's very, very, there's a lot of layers. The Bible actually says that a faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. And it's pointing out that people don't even have the faith of a tiny mustard seed. Even in themselves, specifically in themselves, right? So that's all you need. All you need is just a tiny bit of faith. But the doom scrolling is blocking you. You're blocking yourself from actually working with a faithful attitude, right? And that's people's problems. Like their problem is that they have this shitty fucking attitude because their depression is causing it. They have no faith, and they work or they start their biz with no faith. They think discipline is enough, or rather they think motivation is going to cause enough momentum to push them into discipline, or it's just not going to happen if you're in a depressive state. It's just not. And this idea of the matrix is so funny to me, because everything is a matrix. Everything is a matrix. You would get sucked in over and over again to different levels of emotions, right? That people just don't understand, and they get stuck on that plane of depressed or happy or anxious or whatever. And then another emotion comes in and rocks their way of life, and it sends them into a deep spiral, right? The red pill community is really just balancing. I don't even watch this shit, but I've seen controversy around it. Red pill community is just balancing the active depressive forces that the blue pill basically calls. Like there was no blue pill community, but that was the community. Like the community was just doom scroll, eat like shit, live like shit, literally getting sick because people are depressed and stressed. And now people are reverting. Like that we're changing. We're moving that around. We're not people want to eat steaks and eggs, right? Like my lineage, my family is from the Mediterranean. In the Mediterranean area, people live to over 100 years old on average. Like, not in every place, don't get me wrong. In the big cities, they still have stress and they don't live to as long. But in the Mediterranean, in the middle, and the islands and shit, these people live to 90, 100 effortlessly. And it's because they don't have the stress, and it's because they eat very well. It's the diet. So the problem with what was the blue pill? And there wasn't a community. It was just a natural way of life. Eating like shit, fast foods, chips, sodas, blah, blah, blah. Just comfort. That's it all wrapped up. It's just comfort. On top of doom scrolling, and fucking just enjoying social media, getting so much attention from social media, like their life revolving around social media. Not only that, but the trophies that people post on social media. Everybody only posts their moments, so when they see the cars, the houses, the blah, 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 the things that everybody wants, right? We all want them deep down. They get stuck in a cycle, and that cycle creates more bad habits and more bad habits, which happen to be eating like shit, right? And now the other side of the balancing scale is turning around. Now people are just eating healthy foods like steaks and eggs, and they're just into David Goggins and Kobe and whoever else is just inspiring the fuck out of them, because they don't want to be in that depressive lifestyle anymore. You have to actively choose that you're going to change if you actually want to start making money online. Like, I'm going to keep showing this fucking store because I know when it gets so massive, this is going to be the one thing that I recorded from the beginning to the end. Most people, they do actually find some sort of success or some shreds of sales or some shreds of something, and they get lost along the way. So I want people, while they're on their way, I don't want to show you just the end. I don't want to show you just the beginning. But the things that you're watching now are going to be the in-betweens. I'm going to keep uploading videos like this. I'm going to keep showing you the results daily. It's been a couple days since I uploaded the last video, but in reality, it's been a couple weeks. So as you guys can see, like, the sales have already gone up. It's been fucking consistent every single day, and I'm trying to just get better every single day. And that's the problem for you. Like, if you are not actively trying to get better every day, what are you supposed to do? Like, think about it. Ask yourself right now, what are you supposed to do if you're not getting better every day, and you're also supplementing not getting better, the time you're wasting not getting better, with doom scrolling? Like, you replace the time that you can get better with fucking doom scrolling and, like, paralyzing videos like we talked about in the last video, which is just motivational shit. Like, that is just paralyzing because it gives you short dopamine spikes that after the dopamine wears off, you're getting more fucking depressive because dopamine's gone. And the only way to get it back is by, instead of actually living it, you go and watch videos about it. So it's something to keep in mind, guys. I'm telling you again, the iteration of this video, you are not depressed because your life is bad. I promise you. You are actually having a bad life. Your life is bad, or feels bad, rather. It feels bad because of your depression. Your depression is convincing you your life is bad. So we have to change this ideology. We have to go back to finding some sort of hobbies that make us happy, because depression is just so easy to fucking succumb to. Living in the past is so easy to do, and it's time we just stop it. It's time we fucking fear the worst and actually live for the best, which is the future, or the present. The present is really the best because it builds the future. So live in the present, be happy, and you will be happy in the future present moment too. When the future becomes the present, you'll be happy in that moment because you worked and chose to be happy today. And that's the difference. If you choose to be depressed going forward, right? You didn't choose your past depression. If you choose to be depressed going forward, if you have the ability to change, that is going to cause future depression, causing your life to continually be bad. So again, I know depression isn't a choice, but if you have an opportunity to change it right now and you decide you're against it, now you're actively choosing it. Now you're choosing to not be happy instead. So with that, guys, I'll see you in the next video. The next video upload, this store will probably be like at like 250K like total sales. Like, I don't want to wait too long to make a video, so I'm gonna make it a goal. Like, next time is 250,000 total sales. By the time I get 250,000 in total sales, which is like 2 weeks from now, I'm hoping to have at least 3 or 4 more ads up, 5 more ads up that are really hitting home, and I hope we're actually at like 250K months going forward. And then that'll really show you guys the progression of just weeks of locking in and dedicating time to your craft. So anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next episode anyway.